Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. Thought I would get on here and pull some cards for us. We have a full moon coming up, I think on Sunday. So keen to see what the collective energies are. That might be a bit loud. The collective energies are for us in regards to the moon, and yeah, just anything that's coming up for us as usual. Using this this Osset Egyptian Oracle deck, and then we'll get into the tarot. Sending you all heaps of love as, yeah, we're all like navigating all the different shifts going on and the things happening around the world as well. I hope that everyone is giving themselves all the like love and nurture that is needed, especially in regards to our body. Is something that I'm hearing too, like important for us at this time not to neglect the nurture that we need to give our bodies. So if you need to rest. If you need to eat more, if you need to drink more water, if you need to sleep more, if you need to take some time off from something, if you can, I would suggest it, like breaks are necessary. Okay. Thank you for these messages that are going to come through for us, for the collective. Source, divine source, spirit. What guidance and affirmation do you have for us this week and going into this full moon? What guidance and affirmation do you have for us, the collective, this week and going into this full moon? We have Hathor, love and music, or the original name, Heteru. Beautiful. Oh, I just also want to show this. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but Do Mutef, Earth Spirit, the base of the deck. So that's taking me back to what I was just speaking on before. Like, it's really important for us to be grounding as much as we can. So connecting to our bodies. What does our body need? What does our physical need, if that makes sense? Even just with reading this, we could be Heteru is also can be Venus, or some people believe that Heteru is Venus. So if we're thinking about Heteru in that regard, Venus is a planet of love. Venus is a planet of nurture. I think the zodiac signs that are connected to Venus, I know more commonly as Taurus. So again, like nurturing the body, the physical, what is going to bring us stability. But it's also like, that's also about that nurturing energy. Can even be linked to mothering as well. So maybe some of us are needing to step into more of that energy for ourselves, with ourselves at this time. And definitely the collective is needing that nurture. So wherever you feel like others, people around you are needing that, offer that nurture if you feel like you have that stability to give. If you need to give it to yourself, give it to yourself. I'm also hearing no excuses. So it's not really a time to make excuses for not giving ourselves the love and nurture that we need right now. We might be like neglecting ourselves due to obligations or feelings of obligation. So making sure our cup, our life force is full before we're just giving out so much too. But anyway, with Heteru, I'm also hearing like, yeah, harmony, making sure that we are in harmony with ourselves. So things are, I always want to say balanced, but that's not the correct word. But yeah, making sure that our energies are at harmony. Yeah, again, the giving and receiving exchange, the sweetness, giving those offerings of sweetness to ourselves. and being real and honest about what we need. We may even need to ask other people for support. If you need to, it's important to get out of your comfort zone in that regard. Oh yeah, and the other thing is it says love and music. So music might be something that is helpful. Music is a beautiful, beautiful healing entity, I want to say, and even in regards to indigenous culture and tradition, African Black culture and tradition, music has been a powerful, powerful communicator, healing tool, release, transmuter, invoker, like, yeah, so leaning into and on, music looks like it would be helpful for us as a collective. So even like sharing music with other people, send someone a song this week. If you're feeling called to listen to music that uplifts you and makes you feel love, makes you feel supported and nurtured and held at this time, because I know a lot of us may not feel that way, or may be feeling quite disrupted because of the things that are happening. And it's hard when a lot of things are happening in the world that are not great. It can be quite jarring and also make us feel disconnected from the love that is still present in the earth realm. So I think Source is wanting to call us into a harmony in that sense. Yes, there's all this stuff going on, and maybe this stuff affects our loved ones or affects us, those we know, but there are still ways in which we can slip in love and nurture. Something that Source always reminds me is when I'm feeling heavy, when I'm feeling bitter, going through some shit that doesn't feel good and is very real at the same time, they'll remind me that honey is always needed. If you're going through something bitter and it's like overly bitter and there's that, I don't know, I want to say like taste left in your mouth that's not going away, we need to harmonize that. So bringing in that sweetness. So I always suggest like literally getting a teaspoon of honey with the intention of drawing in sweetness into your energy, and eating that honey. Could even be like dates as well. Dates have that sweetness and wealth and protection. So yeah, balancing and harmonizing. And also for those that maybe have, just putting this out there, have been, I was going to say like overly positive, toxic positivity. Let's not do that either, please. Especially when it comes to people that are really going and moving through some things at this time. It might not be helpful to be like overly positive, but, there are some real things happening right now in the world. So acknowledging those things, but also just bringing in the harmony where it needs to be in a nurturing and grounded way with the Taurus energy, with He to do. Okay, I think that one card was enough. We'll just go into the tarot. Message. What other messages do you have for us, the collective, at this time? I'm also hearing like celebration. So as this moon comes forth, even though we might not feel like celebrating, just having a time to ourselves. Like I'm seeing the Four of Wands, which actually had been coming up. I had been seeing yesterday. So Four of Wands is about gratitude, is about celebration, is about home, is about uniting with the people, places, things that make us feel that stability, that give us a reason to celebrate just life in general. I kind of want to find the card, but I'll just describe it. The Four of Wands and one of the tarot decks I have is 4 people holding candles, walking to Yamoya, walking to the water to give offering, to give thanks. And that's what I'm seeing. It's important for us to give thanks for life, to give thanks for the water as well, because the water spiritually offers us cleansing and healing. Some of us can even go to the water physically. If you don't want to get in, you can put your fully in, you can put your feet in and ask ancestors, highest ancestors, divine ancestors of love and light and truth and peace, to come through into our lives and also into the collective. It's a really good time to pray for healing, stability, for those around us, for support for those around us, like nurture. Yeah, like we might think that our prayers aren't heard or don't really go anywhere, but they do. So okay, now close my phone. And what guidance and affirmations you have for us, the collective, going into this full moon this week? What guidance and affirmations you have for us, the collective, going into this full moon this week? One more, please. What guidance and affirmations you have for us, the collective, going into this full moon this week? The Hierophant and Temperance and the Magician at the base. Cool. Okay, so we have Knight of Pentacles, 6 of Cups, the Hierophant, and Temperance. So again, there's with the Knight of Pentacles, there's the stability that Source is wanting us to access and that we have access to, regardless of what is happening. Stability can also be found within as well, even if everything else is shifting. So Source is wanting us to take it slow. And again, I think there was the Queen of Cups at the base of the deck when I pulled this. So that again is just about nurture. And being in touch with the way in which we're feeling. So it's important for us to be honest about what we're feeling, moving through, but also to be compassionate and nurturing to ourselves. Again, it's that like mothering energy, and we all have that energy in us. Doesn't matter like what body you come in. We all have the capacity to nurture ourselves and others in some shape or form. We're also here being called to nurture, the things that bring us stability as well. Like this could be like something to do with our finances and, or something that we're building physically or working on physically, a project, work, could be anything of that regard. So Source is reminding us as we're going into this full moon to slowly nurture those things, with that like emotional awareness. Yeah, like mothering our projects and the things that bring us stability, if that makes sense. With the 6 of Cups, there might be some relationships that we're nurturing as well. We might be called to like, I'm hearing like stand by. So some of us may specifically be called to stand by like a friend or a loved one or, someone in that regard. Our relationships as well are like, or it's a time for our relationships, I guess, to grow. And it might be a slow growth, but again, there's like a sense of stability within that. It does look like with the Hierophant as well, it's important for us to like do what we were doing, and it's important for us to stick to like our routines and the things that we know that work for us is kind of what I'm trying to say actually. And within our connections as well. So nurturing our connections, nurturing those we feel connected to, especially those that like we might have a past with already. And there looks like, yeah, it's important for us to like, because the Hierophant can be about tradition, so it doesn't necessarily mean being traditional. It can, so you might be approaching a connection or a situation that you've been working on over time or invested in over time quite traditionally, and that looks like it's okay. Or it might just be time to like stick to the ways of doing things that we know work. Yeah, it's not a time, it's kind of giving me like, you know what people say in like retrograde, like don't start anything new vibes, kind of like that, I guess. I mean, unless you know your own intuition if you need to do what you need to do, but that's what I'm seeing. And it also looks like it's important for us to be patient with ourselves with the Temperance. The Temperance and the Hierophant is, to me, like a really beautiful connection. That as we're continuing at our routine, as we're continuing at like the slow, steady pace within our connections, our relationships, there is this fruitfulness, and maybe things won't happen in the timing that we think when it comes to what we're nurturing. But it's important for us to be patient as we continue to nurture those things. Yeah, we might have people around us. If it's not like a specific connection that this is about, we might have people around us that are helping us grow our stuff or contributing to what creates this stability and groundedness within our space, within our home, whatever it may be. We also have the Magician at the base of the deck, so there's reminders here that some of us can sometimes, it's easy as like humans, I guess, to sometimes feel like we don't have enough, or we don't have the things that we need. And maybe there are things that we require or are wanting for the future, in our space, in our home, in our finances, in our connections, whatever it may be. But Source is reminding us that like alchemy is taking what you have around you, what you have access to right now in this present moment, and using that to grow what we want. We all have access to something, no matter how small, no matter how big, and Source is reminding us that whatever we have access to is our power, in order to create, you know, the connections that we want, the even commitments that we want, even just the like energy that we want in our life. Like, I want to feel this. I want to feel this when I wake up every day. I don't want to feel this, you know. I guess the question is, what do I have in my vicinity? What do I have? Resources do I have? Even just what can I be grateful for that is around me right now? Even if you think that you don't have anything to create what you want, what can you be grateful for? And that takes me back to the Four of Wands card that I kind of saw in my mind's eye before. The four people going to the sea, Yemuya, to give thanks, to give gratitude. And I'm actually hearing the word tradition. So with the Hierophant, this is a card of tradition. This is a card of sticking to our traditions. So if you have traditional practices that you adhere to, cultural practices that you adhere to, it is the time right now to really like hone in onto that. You know, give your offering, do your prayers, whatever they look like for you. If you feel like you don't have like a cultural thing, it could be like a tradition that you do within your family that offers gratitude and thanks to Source. It doesn't have to be like so serious, but it also can be, yeah, a beautiful time to like do those traditions with others as well. I'm seeing, especially with like the Six of Cups there. So if you have friends, family, loved ones that you are desiring to connect with more, or it could also be a way for us to offer support to one another within community, is to do things together, which is like a given. So yeah, we might be engaging in like traditional things together, whatever that looks like for you personally. And then also through that access, or through that connection to tradition, and through, could be ritual, it could be, like I said, going to the water and giving offering, whatever it is that you know that you do or can do. From that, there may be, again, patience that is required in order to see the fruit of what we have been asking for or what we're working on. Yeah. Just looking through the deck, I'm not going to show these cards, but it's Five of Wands, the Devil, Three of Swords, King of Chalices, and Strength. Yeah, so a lot of us might be going through some hurt, like even just the collective stuff that's going on within the world is understandable. It could be affecting, or would be, honestly, affecting a lot of us. And I'm seeing that a lot of us, I'm hearing our hearts are expanding as we're moving through any hurt. They're also just generally outside of the what's happening in the collective or in the world in general, like in personal lives, there might be some conflict. Okay, so this conflict might be with ourselves, or this conflict could be with other people around us, and it would be due to, can even be like toxic, unhealthy behaviors or patterns that are coming up, that could be causing some hurt, I'm seeing. So it's important for each of us to be mindful of like the things that come up for us when we are feeling hurt. So if we are feeling something or not feeling great, what ways do we potentially act or lash out could be a thing. If there is conflict around you, or you're having conflict with others, and just being mindful that other people, if you're noting that someone around you is in that kind of combative energy, which isn't like necessarily the healthiest, acknowledging that maybe they're also going through some hurt as well. Doesn't mean you have to be like self-sacrificing, but just acknowledging and observing. We also may have friends or people around us that are going through certain situations in regards to that. And so we may be able to offer them, I want to say, some water. So some coolness, some calmness, some words of love, offering our hearts to one another as well. And with the Strength card, it might take some strength from us, or from if you're moving through something that's heavier or sore or painful, it might take some strength, and also some confidence. Reminders of the fact that you are powerful regardless of what it is you might be feeling or moving through. So yeah, some of us might be going through some hurt in regards to love as well. So because of some conflict in the past. So that might require us to move forward really, like Strength card, that's Leo energy. We may need to really tame our ego a little bit. So our ego might be, our ego, sorry, I was just seeing like someone's ego going off. And it's cute because this like person, which I don't know, I get Sekhmet vibes. is like taming the lion. And Sekhmet, this one of the stories of Sekhmet, if you know of them, the Kemetic divinity, you can look them up. There was a lot of stuff going on in the world, and Source, or I think it was Ra, but I'm just going to say Source. Higher Source was not happy with the things that were going on in the world, and sent, I think Sekhmet was full of rage because of this. And Sekhmet is Ra's child, or the sun's child. And so Sekhmet went out and like pretty much a rampage and was like furious and fuming. And then Source saw that Sekhmet was causing more harm than maybe what was necessary. And so I think, not sure of the specifics in this part, but I think they like helped them transmute that and into healing. And so Sekhmet's rage and hurt because of what was going on in the world was transmuted into helping people heal, essentially, and healing for themselves. And so that's quite significant, I would say, in regards to the times that we're in and what's going on. I mean, some of the stuff has been going on for a long time, but that might just be some of us may need to have courage and strength to transmute some of the stuff that we're feeling, the grief that we're feeling, the hurt that we're feeling, especially because our hearts are open, and some of us may be feeling a lot more grief or hurt than usual as well. So I'm hearing that that's because your heart is expanding. So just a little like confirmation or affirmation there. Yeah, so I'll leave that there, but I guess the overall message is for us to really like support each other during this full moon. And a full moon has always been known to be a time of like a cycle completing and celebration. So activating those energies within our space, you know, even if we're not feeling overly like that, just making a little bit of effort to bring in some harmony, some sweetness, some joy, winding down with the people that we love, making sure that we're checking on our loved ones as well, and nurturing those things that we are wanting to see grow, continuing to pour in that like nurturing, loving, mothering energy into our projects, the things that bring us stability, our connections, our soul connections, and also our tradition, our routines, and sticking to those things right now are really going to help us expand and heal, though it might take a little bit of patience and time. So yeah, I will leave that there. I'm sending you all heaps and heaps of love. Yeah, make sure you reach out to someone and check on them if you need to. Spend time with your loved ones, and I will talk to you all soon.